So here at Fosway Classic Car Workshop, obviously I've been working on this E-Type now, but there are lots of other interesting things going on in the background. So what I was wanting to do was show you a little bit about the other interesting projects that other people are doing here. One of which is a Series 1 Ford Thunderbird, which is obviously a bit special. There are a lot more E-Types in this country, for instance, than there are Thunderbirds. So if we walk up to it here, it's recently been resprayed. I'm fortunate enough having the owner of it here with us today, so what I'm going to do is ask him a few questions about it. Right, so I'm here with Robin, and this is his Thunderbird, and a glorious bit of kit it is too. I'll admit to not knowing much about Americana myself, but so what is it and how long have you had it?
Okay, well, it's a 1955 Ford Thunderbird. It's a Series 1, so it's the first one. It was basically a direct competitor to the Corvette, the first Corvette, and Ford's response to the Corvette. It was supposed to be the first personal luxury car. I don't know what that means, but that was the marketing at the time. But it was basically a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more of a cruiser than the Corvette, which was more of a sports car.
Yeah, okay.
So this is a 1955. They did the Series 1 for 55, 56, 57.
So it's the first year of production?
First year of production. Quite an early car as well. I believe from the numbers it was actually built in the end of 54. It doesn't make it anything special, it's just an early car.
Yeah, okay.
The engine in this is a Ford Y-block 292 cubic inch, which is just under 5 litres.
Right.
And is one of the major attractions for me. I went to Cuba, I wasn't a big fan of American cars. Went to Cuba, saw all of the old American cars there and just fell in love with the whole vibe for them. Came back, had a look at the size of my garage, had a look at American cars and worked out this was one of the few that I could actually get in my
fit
garage.
in.
Because it is actually European car sized. It's next to an MX-5 here. It's probably only a foot longer than an MX-5.
Yeah, it isn't kind of, your great big land whale that you kind of expect from America.
Yeah.
Just to think, I've just helped Robin put the engine back in this, so more on that to follow in a minute.
So I've had the car probably 2.5 years now. I bought it after a few too many drinks and with a
It was an eBay purchase.
Yeah, over enthusiastic eBay purchase. I had been looking at Thunderbirds for a while. I'd been to see a couple of the later Series 1s, but again, just they were too big, too unwieldy, and weren't really what I wanted. I'm more of a sort of convertible two-seater type fan rather than big land yachts, as you call them.
Yeah.
So I saw this, clicked the button, went and had a look at it. I had studied it a little bit beforehand, so it wasn't quite as impetuous as that.
Yeah.
And it was in a fairly sorry state. I knew it was going to take a lot of work, but for me, half the interest was the project.
Yes.
I wanted to take it to pieces, put it back together properly, make sure it was done properly.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling of having achieved that sort of thing.
Yeah, we've certainly taken it to pieces.
Yes.
I've seen this in various states. Since Robin first moved to this unit just next door, it's needed quite a bit of work then, and it's obviously very shiny now. So how much have you had to do to it to get it to this stage?
Well, so everything. Right. So it's been a bit fits and starts because of the pandemic. So I originally took it to pieces down to the bare body, but with the engine in, body on the chassis. I then gave it to a guy that I'd used before for a different vehicle. He took the engine and gearbox out, separated the body from the chassis. We had the chassis coated and properly painted. There was nothing wrong with it. It had been in California all of its life on black plates. So there was no rust or rot on the chassis whatsoever.
I was underneath this just now and it really looks tidy.
So that's been epoxy coated, all of the chassis under there. All of the underneath has been sprayed with anti-vibration paint, so it's got a thick sort of rubber crumb in it to protect it from the UK roads and weather, but also to give it a little bit more sound dampening.
Yes.
It's had some body work done to it. When we stripped it down, it was obvious it had quite an interesting coming together with something else down one side. It was from the driver's door down across the rear quarter. But I had that all properly taken out, rather than it had been repainted before, and it had in some places an inch of filler. on it.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a surprise when I took it back.
Yeah.
And found what was there, but decided that the only way to do it was to do it properly.
Do it once, do it properly.
Yeah. So we found the right painter fairly quickly. I think that was a recommendation of your own, and he has done a superb job. It's not in its best condition at the moment because it's not been washed or anything like that. I'm trying not to rub it at all so that it doesn't scratch.
Yeah.
And it will, once it's all done, it will then get properly cleaned. It will be fully polished again and then ceramic coated as well to give it that absolute perfect mirror finish to it.
Yeah, it looks like it's certainly capable of it. So this big red beating heart of the car, is that a standard block, or have you done anything to that?
Well, so it is. It was a standard engine. When we took it apart, it had been rebuilt once before, so it was oversized internally. But this block is used for at least 3 different size engines: a 272, a 292, and a 312.
Right.
And they generally bore out for the different size engines. So the 312 has got a slightly longer front crank on it as well.
Right. Okay.
But this was oversized by about 0.6, and I've taken it out to about 0.8 oversized, which makes it just over 5 litres now. Right. So instead of being a 292, it's now a 306. I put a high lift long duration cam in it, an Isky cam. It's got forged rods and pistons. I've got a fuel injection system to go on it, and I'm looking at exhaust extractors for it at the moment as well, though I'll probably start it up with standard.
I have to say, I'm looking forward to hearing this running.
Yeah, I did run
a good day.
I did run it a few times before I started taking it to pieces, and it sounded glorious. But a little bit angry. The previous owner had done a few things to it, including putting what they call glass packs in the exhaust, which is a muffler with pretty much nothing in it apart from a bit of fiberglass.
Oh, okay.
And it makes it spit and cough.
Right.
So the neighbours loved me for a few weeks that I was running it around. But it will have a glorious.
So you want to dial that back a bit?
Going to dial that back a little bit, take out the spitting, and the sort of gunshot type sounds, and make it a big bore but muffled sound. So it will sound more like the big.
Yeah, a bit more classy, dare I say.
Yeah. Less Hasbo, more more cruise.
And black is its original colour?
Black is its original colour. The VIN plate on it tells you what the options were on it and what the colour was, and this is an original black car.
What's going to happen with the interior?
So the interior is completely going to be replaced. I've already refurbished the seats myself. I've got new carpets for it, new door panels. Is it black on black? No, so it's a black and white interior. So it's black seats but with a white panelling inside, white door cards, white kick panels.
Yes.
But then it has a black hard top and a black soft top as well.
Right, okay. Oh, very nice indeed. Well, it's going to be very interesting to follow this as you start to build it up now that the engine's back in. I think you said wiring harness is the next big challenge.
Yeah. I've had that out on a pin board and labelled up every single piece of it, cut out the burnt bits, but I've still got a few modifications to do. Right. And that's going to be, I guess, the biggest challenge left now is to get that wiring harness.
Yes, wiring is my least favourite thing, other than putting in windscreens, which is also a bit of a challenge. But wiring's, you need to get it right. Then
there's always that fear that you'll switch it on and there'll be a funny smell.
Yeah.
And dashing for the fire extinguishers.
Yes, definitely. Brilliant, thank you very much. My thanks to Robin for telling me about his car. I'll certainly be following his project with great interest, and we'll have an update when there's more to show. So you can see both of us here fitting the engine and gearbox into the rather wide mouth of the open engine bay of this car. As you can see, Robin had planned it carefully and very sensibly decided to move the car under the engine rather than move the engine into the engine bay, reducing the risk of damage. In all, it took us about an hour, which was pretty good start to finish with 2 of us. I've got rid of the background commentary because we were talking a lot during the refitting. But as you can see, it's a really good thing to have this engine reunited with the car. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe for future updates. I'm not quite sure where they're going to be because Robin has a day job as well to do. But it'll be great to see this project coming through and seeing the car driving again. Thank you very much.